Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Today, we're going to do something a little different. My roots are in spirituality. Well, I shouldn't say that. I should say I've become more of a spiritual person, but there was a time when paranormal was my jam. And it may not be everybody's jam, especially as you get older. I kind of feel I don't see too many elder people out there in black t shirts ghost hunting. But I did want to talk a little bit today about the different levels of energy and hauntings, because I do get a lot of questions about that. So if it's not your thing, this video might not be yours. It's fine. It's fine. I hope to see you in the next one. But we're going to talk a little bit about energy today, and not only like the different levels of hauntings, but how it affects us. Because energy is what we're all made of. Everything is made of energy. The chair I'm sitting in, if it weren't for the structure of that energy, I'd probably be on the floor. But I don't feel we need to go there. I'm not as well versed in science. I barely passed math in school, but I am very well experienced in paranormal. I just, don't quite as much, but I do get a lot of questions about it. So let's talk about energy. So there are higher vibrations and there are lower vibrations. And I think we all understand that Archangel Michael, for instance, would not reside on the same plane as a broken down kind of spirit. I mean, they're just, it's just this way. And but the fields of realms, the lack, I might don't listen to my words. Just hear what I'm saying. So let's talk a little bit about the highest realms first. We have God, of course, God energy. Whatever the universe provides is definitely up there. Your higher spirits, your higher self. I would say your higher self is a little bit above your head, because that's the place you tap into when it comes to intuition, whether it is a spontaneous thought or whether it is a deliberate action that you're trying to get answers for. And you have your spirit guides up there too. They're probably a little higher than your higher self, but they interact. Your spirit guides and your higher self is probably where you talk to them the most, as well as loved ones on the other side. So there's a little bit of a back and forth, so you can understand why people in the paranormal realm become, very spiritual. Because how could we not? At some point or another, you realize that it's all encompassed. It's all connected. Whether it is a soldier ghost on a battlefield or whether it's your spirit guides, we may not be residing on the same plane, but it's kind of like the tree. We are all connected at the base, right? We can agree on that. So let's move further down on the realms. Then there's the human, of course. And then there are ghosts, and they're kind of cousins to the human because they're right here in this realm. They are just operating without the vehicle. And they are different in themselves, just like we have, black, white, brown people. I feel that it's very important to understand your cousins. When somebody calls you and goes, "Oh my gosh, my house is haunted," or the weirdest things are happening. Don't be afraid. That's the first thing I ever tell anybody. I have cleared a lot of houses. I have lots more stories to present at some point. If you want to, you can go see the story of Katie. And that was the first one. I think the thumbnail says haunted house. And you might get some insights into what I'm talking about in a very profound way. So, getting to know our cousins, okay, we're going to do that because that shows that there are different kinds of hauntings. And then there's the lower vibrations. They're like below us. And yes, I mean, I don't believe in hell itself. I think we're pretty much there. But I do believe in an underworld. And that's a little different in my perspective. So there are some of it I kind of relate to like mythology. I think there are some correlations between what I'm talking about and mythology. And I'll just leave it there. My take on this, based on my experience, is the different types of ghosts. And I like to just say spirits, but I guess I'll say ghosts for the algorithms. In terms of paranormal, I have had so many different types of clients come to me about the issues that they're having. And there are ghosts that don't even know that they have passed. Maybe they have passed very suddenly. And maybe they haven't gone to the light because they can't see it. And there's all different reasons for that. Sometimes it's simply because they cannot accept that they're passed on. So they're living kind of a dual role life. So I had a client once, it was a couple who just bought a house and there was a lot of activity. And I went over, and it wasn't that they couldn't inhabit the house. As it turns out, there was a couple that lived in this house many, many years ago. And the husband passed first. And then she remained in this house for many years afterwards. And I never got a sense of him, but she was definitely present in this house. They would wake up in the morning, go for their coffee, and find all the coffee cups were turned upside down. That's what she would do. That was her living space. And basically, this is a cohabitation. She wasn't scary. There was, she just wanted to be there. Hauntings are usually one of three things. It's attached to a person, a place, or a thing. And she was attached to this place. And we tried to let her know and communicate that she can move on. But from what I gathered, she didn't want to go. She wasn't ready. She was aware, but she wasn't ready to go. She just really enjoyed this. And it wasn't a residual spirit. A residual spirit would be when someone walks down the steps at midnight in an English pub, like clockwork, like you've heard of the headless woman in the white gown. And that happens over and over again on time. That's not someone, it's not real. It's like a thumbprint that we leave behind. Does that make sense? It's just a recording. I don't know why those exist, but they do. But getting back to the spirits that are about the person, place, or thing, this woman and this couple ended up just cohabitating. They accepted her. They did ask her not to do this or that, and maybe that was just annoying, but I don't know that she ever listened. It was fine. I think she was very aware of them and happy to be there. So one happy little family, I guess. Another would be about a thing. My cousins had called me because they had footsteps going upstairs and there's nobody there. They both, it's just them living there, and there was no reason for these footsteps going back and forth upstairs when they were downstairs. So pacing back and forth. So I did a reading for them, and I discovered that there was something this person wanted. It was a thing. It was something that belonged to them. So I asked them, was there something in the house that, that you just acquired, or, because, at the time that you started hearing these footsteps? And as it turns out, they had found an old family album at a yard sale. And it turned out to be this man's nephew who sold said object. And he was not happy that he was selling things like family heirlooms. Obviously, we couldn't give it back to him. So my cousins took the album to the Historical Society, and everything was good. All of a sudden, the house was quiet. So sometimes you're getting a message that you don't understand, but another happy ending. Now, people attachments. Spirits that are attached to people are sometimes the most complex situations. A spirit attachment is not always a good thing. If it's not like a family member or somebody that you miss and you love and has lived with you on this earth, that's definitely a little bit of a different situation. But I think that's kind of rare, because usually they got things to do. Spirits that attach themselves are often of a lower energy, and they may prey on vulnerable people, like someone with a little mental illness. It doesn't have to be a big full-blown illness. It's just enough that you have built a little portal in a way that they see they could come through because of that disorder. And what I mean is they're looking for cracks. Okay? Some of them want to get back here, and some of them just want to wreak havoc. I'm not really sure about that, because my business is not to get to know them. My business is to clear that. Well, it used to be. So I did have one client I had to work on. It was Reiki, it was psychology, it was a little bit of everything. It was a little ritualistic, because this man was walking around being pushed and hearing these voices. And there may have been a little bit of schizophrenia. I didn't know, because I couldn't diagnose that. That's not my job. But I could diagnose that there was a spirit attached. And we were able to get rid of it, but I can only do so much. The big job is for that person to make sure it stays away. That was a happy ending, sort of ish, because there was a situation where they became vulnerable again, but I'm not really sure how that ended. I know it was, for a long time, there was a freedom. And that's what it's usually described as. It's like, I have no freedom. They're always at me. I do think that there are some spirit attachments that can be misdiagnosed for mental illness. And I saw a big difference in this person. All right, back to different hauntings, because if you have energies in your house, they can affect you. I mean, we all have energies in the house, but comment below. I'm not taking on any new clients here, but if I can answer a question, I will. So some of the hauntings that you find in a house can be absolutely worse than others. I mean, I'm not going to talk about all of the stories, but I have definitely helped clear homes that were just ridiculous. And that is in the story that I was talking about with Katie. So I don't have that many videos up, so take a look at that. You should be able to find it. And I have cleared homes that were very simple to clear. There's no problem. Sometimes it's a walkthrough. Sometimes it's a home that's built on an Indian burial ground. Sometimes it is a person attachment, but I was just talking about places. That's the most common. And I tell people when they first contact me, is the first thing you want to do is stay calm. And if you want to yell at them, go for it. And the reason I say this is because they do prey on vulnerable people. So just like dogs can smell fear, same thing. They can tell if you're afraid of them. So it's hard to request this of someone who's contacting me and that's totally frantic. And I'm telling them, yell at them. Tell them to get the F out. You're not welcome here, whatever. So not easy. And if you're having any problems, I hope you can find someone. I would go more toward a medium than I would a paranormal group, but maybe both. Someone with ghost hunting equipment, for instance, can come in your home and sort of make a diagnosis or tell you where the energy is more one place than another through their equipment. But a medium can help release it. So there's definitely diagnosis and proactive, clearing might be two different scenarios. Okay, I will do another video at some point about clearing your space. Now, if I get a whole bunch of comments down below, then I will make that sooner than later. And while you're down there commenting, please like and subscribe. Help my channel grow. I'm a newbie here, and I would love to continue making videos and maybe even make more than one a week, but it's a start. Okay, you take care. Have a great day. Bye.